Hey there, boys and girls, this is Mr. Perez, and today we are going to be talking about the cell theory. Our unit for the next couple of weeks will be cells, and the best place to start is where did it all begin? So before we go, let's go to make sure you have all distractions out of the way. Make sure TV, radio, cell phones, whatever, friends, whatever might be distracting you, let's push them to the side, and let's focus on the cell theory. If you are on level, you will be having your note page out right now, in which you'll be filling in key words that go through the PowerPoint while listening to my great voice and talking about this. If you are pre-AP, you will be taking notes. You'll be writing them down in your book of knowledge. So make sure that you have something to write with. Usually pencil works best in case you mess up. Also keep in mind this is a video, so you can pause as you go to each slide to make sure you have the correct words down. Let's begin. The cell theory. The cell theory is a development and refinement of magnifying lenses and light microscopes, which made the observation and description of microscopic organisms and all living cells possible. Now you see two types of microscopes here, and one on the left is during Mr. Watson's time. As you can see here, a lot of the light source was from mirrors or reflected light that came through. And on the right here is more of the kind of Mr. Perez's time, which is called the electron microscope, which can see things at the atomic level. And it's changed throughout that period, and we're going to go over a timeline as we talk about the different people who made their contributions to the microscope. So, who were these scientists and how did they contribute to the cell theory? Well, what is the cell theory? Well, the cell theory is broken down into three main parts. It's one, the cell is the basic unit of all life. Two, all living things are made up of cells. Three, cells come from pre-existing cells. And we're going to cover a little bit of this each as we go through, and you can see how it actually comes together. And when we do some of our labs within the week and next week, we're going to come back to this and we're going to reflect on how these three parts of the cell theory play into what we're doing in the classroom. So who was the first one? His name was Antoine van Leeuwenhoek. His 1632 to 1723. That 1632 is when he was born. 1723 is when he passed away. He was credited as inventing the first microscope. He was a Dutch scientist who was the first to see bacteria and protists. And if you look, yes, he has long hair. He's not from the 80s. Back then they would wear wigs, and that was just the norm, what was culturally acceptable. And as you can see in the middle, that's what it actually looked like, and on the left you'll see a picture of the diagram showing how it was put together. As we move throughout, we have another guy who gave his contribution to the cell theory, and that was Robert Hooke, 1635 1703. As you can see, you gotta love the hair. There's his hair before and then after. What he did is he observed that the cork, we observe in a cork that it has small regular boxes in it that he called cells. And if you look closely, you can see within there the cells that are on the left hand side, figure 1, and what it looked like, how it was drawn when you saw it through the microscope. The next contributor became Robert Brown, who in 1773 was born and died in 1858. He was a Scottish botanist who noticed that all cells have a dark region, and he called that a nucleus. Now, how was he able to see the nucleus? Well, if you look over here to the left, you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and use my pointer options here. Bear with me. Here we go. Boom. Right here. You can see right here, this is the actual microscope that he used. Right there. Okay? That's what he used, and that's how he was able to see these cells and nucleus. As it started to develop, we then came into what came in 1839. You had two gentlemen, Theodor Schwann and Matthias Schleiden, and they stated that all living things are made up of cells. Now, both of them were in the field of biology. One studied animals and the other studied plants. Schleiden said plant growth, he stated in 1837, came about through the production of new cells, which he speculated were propagated from the nuclei of old cells. And he said all plants are composed of cells. Now Theodor Schwann, and this was done when they were dining with each other in 1837, and this is where the conversation turned on the nuclei of vegetable cells, and Schwann remembered having seen similar structures in the cells of a notochord, and had been shown by Mueller, and he instantly realized that the importance of connecting the two phenomenons. He showed the resemblance was confirmed without delay by both observers, and the results soon appeared in his famous microscopic investigations on the accordance in the structure and growth of plant and animals. It was translated to English in 1847, and it said all animals are composed of cells. So therefore, by comparing both animal and plant cells, they found similarities between the two. Okay. Moving on to the next slide, we finished off with Rudolf Virchow, 1821 to 1902. He was a German scientist who discovered that all cells come from pre-existing cells. Now, all these guys were able to give their contributions throughout the years with the cell theory. And right here you will see the timeline that is set up. Now it says let's construct a timeline in your book of knowledge. Now if you can, sure. If not, that's okay. But what this is showing you the actual relationship throughout time, how they based the theory off other scientists. So you have Hans and Zacharias Janssen, which produced the first compound microscope, and then it was in 1665 that Hooke was first to call those spaces, those quark spaces, cells. And then about 15 years later, Antoine van Hooke observed the living cells through a simple microscope. And then time passed from 1680 to 1838 when Matthias Schleiden, and then 1 year later, Theodor Schwann came together and found that, hey, plants have cells, animals have cells, they look very similar to each other, so there has to be some type, similarity between the two. And then in 1855, Rudolf Virchow stated living cells come from other living cells. And these were like the fathers of the cell theory. Now what I want you to do is, what I'm going to show you, what I want you to do next is, we're actually going to see a little video that's going to pull this all together for you. You have your notes down, you might want to add to it if you see anything you like. And we're going to log on to the Moodle. And then I'm going to walk you to TED TV Cell Theory, which is on the Moodle site. You're going to click and watch it. And when you're finished, you're going to answer the cell theory reflection questions afterwards. So let me go ahead and walk you through this right here. So let's first log on to the Moodle. And let's see if I can close this out real quick. Do I want to keep the annotations? No. And I'm going to go down here. When you log on to the Moodle, you make sure you get to the parent student page right here. Go to schools. When you click on schools, you want to find Staley, so you can go down here if you like to middle schools. And this is for everybody. You go on to Staley. I'll just click on right here on the Staley website if you haven't done that already. Now you're going to see teachers down here, teachers page. That's what you want to click. And we're going to wait for that to load up. Now, do not worry about any teacher sites. Okay? Go straight down to 7th grade. And what you're going to see is subject websites. And you haven't got on my Twitter, you can go ahead and log on to Twitter over here. This is the calendar that you go to. If you look for Perez down here, you'll see follow me on Twitter. You can go there, and I can accept or decline you. Of course, I'm going to accept you. But you can go on there and go ahead if you're using Twitter and get on that. But you want to go to my website for the Moodle. So go up here to subject websites, Mr. Perez. Then when you get there, it's going to ask for your username and your password. Now, remember, your username is what you log into, like your lunch number. Your password is going to be your birthday. Now remember, your birthday is 8 digits. You gotta have 2 for day, 2 for month, and 4 for year. So you're gonna log on, and it's gonna ask you, if you haven't logged on before, it's gonna ask for a keyword. That keyword is science rules. Okay, that's one. Science rules, one word, lowercase. I don't need you to remember it, sorry. There we go. Now, here is my website. Okay, and I'll update the calendar later, but go all the way down. and you're going to want to go down to where it says, oh, I added a cell theory song for you so you can look at that later, which is pretty cool. It's embedded. You click it, it plays for you. But I want you to go to what's called the Wacky Cell Theory video. You're going to click on that. Wait for it to come on. And there it is right there. Now this is actually a pretty cool video to watch. So if you start right here, it's going to come up, and all you do is hit play. And it's only about 6 minutes. Don't worry about the commercial. The commercial is going to come on. Don't worry about it. Let it go. And you're going to watch the video, and it's called the cell theory.
One of the great things about science is that when scientists...
And there we go. And now that's what you want to do there. Now when you're done with this, there's a bottom part called the cell theory reflection sheet. You're going to click on that and answer the questions when you're done. Okay? And that's what you're going to be doing. So does everyone got that down? Good. So you should have your notes already taken care of. On level, you should have them filled in. Pre-AP, you should have written all these down in your book of knowledge, legible, with page numbers on the side so I can read it when you come back. And I will be checking your reflection sheet off the Moodle to see whether or not you've seen that video. So anyway, have a great day. I will talk to you later and hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.